If you want to increase your wish list, you need a good hook for your game. You need a good first impression, right? That's because if you don't have a good game hook and if a player can't see the advantage of playing your game, then your game will look and feel generic. And being generic means you'll get ignored, right? So welcome to Indie Game Wishlist Part 5. Inside, we're going to go deep. We're going to keep working on your game's hook so it increases your game's wish list. So first, I'll show you an analogy to make it easy for you to understand what I'm about to share with you, right? Then I'll show you an example so that you can relate it back to your own game. Then after, we'll work on a technique and I'll give you a step-by-step action plan. Okay, here's what you need to know and do to make your hook more impressionable. Okay, so in this part, I want to talk about how people are not buying video games, they're actually buying experiences. So if you want a good game hook that grabs a player's attention and motivates them to wishlist your game, then here's a simple analogy. So when you have a headache, you buy pills to get rid of the headache, right? That's the result you want, right? And yes, features like, gel caps, rapid release, it's gentle on your stomach, all of these features are important, but these features are not why you bought the pills, right? You bought them because you want the result. And the result, again, is you want to get rid of your pain. People don't buy medicine, they're buying results. It's the same thing with your indie game, right? Players are not buying your game for your cool art or your features or your story, right? And again, yes, these features are important, but players are buying your game because they want a certain feeling, a certain emotion, experience, or even, meet new friends and be more social after playing your game, right? Players are not buying video games, they're buying results. And this is important to know because when you're working on your game's hook, you need to figure out the result the player will get. You need to figure out what's in it for me. If you can figure this out, your game will make a far better first impression and won't be ignored because it won't look or feel generic, right? So let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So in the game Celeste, it has cool features, but has even far better experience. So once you see this example in action, everything will click into place and you'll understand why, players buy games for results and not just for the features. And then you'll learn how to use this insight to actually, increase your wish lists. So remember how in part 2, I had you work on your Steam, top 5 tags. And then in part 3, where we worked on, finding 3 features for each tag. And then in part 4, you discovered what each feature does. So now let's do the same thing quickly with Celeste. So on their Steam page, the first tag they have is precision platformer. So the first feature is super tight controls. And then the 3 actions I came up with are wall jumping, climbing, dashes and blinks, and variable height jumps, right? So far so good, but what is the result of this feature or action, right? Well, for the player, if they learn to master, these actions, these controls, they can overcome the levels, right? And by overcoming, difficult levels, gives them a sense of, a euphoric victory. So basically the player feels like they actually tangibly achieve something, right? Okay, let's move on to feature number 2, and that is assist mode. So the 3 actions are, the player can lower game speed by 50%. It gives you invincibility and it gives you infinite stamina, right? Okay, great, but what is the result? What does the player get? What's in it for me? Well, simply, it gives casual players who normally avoid, playing precision platformers a way to enjoy the game, right? Because many, hardcore platformers have steep difficulty curves that alienate people, right? But Celeste gives you, platforming without all that frustration. So when you fail, it doesn't feel like you're being punished, but you're actually, it's a learning experience. All right, feature number 3 is an emotional narrative that mirrors the gameplay, the platforming, right? And the 3 actions I came up with is you seek answers as you climb the mountain. And the higher you go, the harder the journey is. But as you progress through the game and you overcome challenges, that's when you begin to heal and gain a sense of your anxiety because you overcome a lot of obstacles, right? Okay, so this is great, but what is the result the player gets from this feature? Well, because the game's structure metaphorically reflects, the protagonist's struggle with mental health, it's easy for the player to see how this, metaphor can relate back to their own life, right? And, playing this game can, tangibly change a person because it can maybe help them with their own, mental issues. Because remember, people want results, they don't want features. Again, you didn't buy the headache pill because it was easy to swallow and easy to digest, right? Yeah, and of course that helps, but you bought it for the result. And the result was you want to get rid of your headache, your pain. It's the same with indie games, right? Players don't buy them for gameplay, art, or story. And again, yes, those are very important, but people buy and play video games because they want a real tangible result in their life, right? They want to feel better. They want to be entertained. They want to meet people. They want to be more social, right? All right, so how does this relate back to you and your indie game? How can you use this insight to help develop a good game hook that finds players and motivates them to, wishlist your game? So let's do that next. Okay, so in this part, I want to talk about your action plan, how to use your game's hook to increase your game's wish list. So your game hook needs to tell the player what's in it for me, right? And to do that, you need to be very specific about the results your player will get if they play your game. So for example, Celeste has many hooks, right? It's a super tight precision platformer that's fun to play. And when you overcome challenges, you actually feel you have achieved something, like something tangible, and it's difficult but not frustrating, and it's accessible to casual players who usually avoid playing precision platformers. And more importantly, it has an emotional story about struggle and overcoming mental health that people can relate to, right? And don't get me wrong, the visuals and the art help market this game too, but there's a lot of pixel art games that look beautiful. They're also platformers, and they, like I said, they look great, but they don't, have an impact like Celeste did. But Celeste sticks out and is more impressive because people who played it had such a good experience that they wanted to tell other people about it, right? And the word of mouth spread, right? And this is the reason why you're working so hard now, trying to study your own game, because I want to help you discover what makes your game unique, memorable, and worth sharing. And you want to build that word of mouth, right? Because if you just focus on features, then it's not enough, right? You need to discover your game's advantage, and then you need to show and tell the player those advantages in your marketing and on your Steam page. So let's do that right now. Let's go deeper so you can discover your game's advantages, its appeal, and what's in it for me for the player, right? Okay, so here's what to do. So far we've worked on 3 things, right? In part 2, we worked on your game's top 5 Steam tags. Part 3, we identified 3 features for each of the tag. And then part 4, we described what each of those features does, what are the actions, right? So today, let's work on the results of what the player will get from your game's features. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go open your Wishlist Workshop Google document that you've been working on. And then remember how in part 4, you wrote down 3 actions for each feature? Well, below each feature, I want you to answer this question. What result will the player experience with this feature? So go through each feature and below it, quickly write down the result or outcome the player will experience. And don't worry if what you come up with isn't perfect, right? The idea here is just to try to get organized. And the idea is to get your brain working, because I promise you that once you start going, your brain will come up with that aha moment, and then you'll eventually, discover your game's hook. So if you can't do this right now, or schedule some time, and to help you get started, you can always download, part 5 blueprint in the description below. So again, go through each of your features and answer the question, what result will the player experience with this feature? And then in part 6, we'll work on a technique to help you figure out which hook will be the most appealing to your player, right? Because what you think is cool might not be cool to the player. Or in other words, what you think might be appealing might not be appealing to the player. And if you get the hook wrong, then your Steam page won't be optimized. So in other words, your target player might land on your Steam page, but since they don't know, what's in it for me, then they'll just leave or ignore you, right? And that's what you want to avoid. So we'll work on that in part 6. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, my name is Dariusz, and good luck marketing your game. Good luck getting those wish lists, and I'll see you in the next part. Later.